What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Post-game grades, reactions to the Philadelphia Eagles' loss to the Vikings. I don't even know what the final score is. There's still 2 minutes left to go. I just decided to come down and record. It's 38-20 right now. I will say, am I overly upset? Yes. Am I as upset as I can be? No. The reason is because I got Dalvin Cook, Thielen, both did fine in fantasy. And I'm not going to say I bet against the Eagles, but I'll say the result of this game will win me some money because I did not like the Eagles matchup in this game at the end of the day. So we'll say if Minnesota secures a victory, New Orleans secures a victory, and Seattle secures a victory, and New Orleans won, and Seattle's down down 3 right now with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. At least my bank account is going to be smiling, but I can't as an Eagle fan. I mean, you had Craig James. Okay, so on top of all the issues, this is when I was just like, I'm not watching this game. They're not putting the effort. I'm not going to put the effort in to watch them. Stephon Diggs had 6 catches for like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. So you take Craig James and you put him on Stephon Diggs in the red zone, and he just gets burnt to a crisp by Stephon Diggs. Some crazy route, and didn't stand a chance. Didn't stand a chance. And I was like, okay, if this is what Jim Schwartz is going to offer, if this is the best that the Philadelphia Eagles can offer, yeah, I'm done. I'm going to go do something else on this beautiful Sunday afternoon than watch this garbage defense that they keep, like, make a change, fire someone. That's how you turn seasons around. Everyone is too comfortable right now. Mike Groh gotta go. Mike Groh on offense. These were the 2 issues last year. Mike Groh and Jim Schwartz. Mike Groh, absolutely, his job, he helps come with the game plan, the opening scripts. That is in his job description. Doug Peterson, in Doug Peterson's book, says he relies on the OCs, which would be a combination of Mike Groh and Deuce Staley, to come up with the game script. Every team, you say at least the first 15 to 20 plays every single week, they script it. They practice those in practice throughout the week. Those, hypothetically speaking, should be your most pristine plays. And yet again, the Philadelphia Eagles come out and they're slow as shit in the first half. Nothing works. The first 20 plays are honestly almost always our worst plays. And actually, it looks like Madison just fumbled the ball. The Philadelphia Eagles got it. Camus Guerrier-Hill forced the fumble and recovered it. That's kind of cool. Too little, too late. As we're talking about this game, I mean, it would be nice to see Carson Wentz get a garbage time touchdown because he's been very, very good today. He deserves it, but it is what it is. So yeah, as I'm saying, the first 20 plays have to be your best. Maybe not even your best plays, but you got to execute them well, and they're not doing that. So what I get from this is Mike Groh, who's a receivers coach, who was a passing game coordinator under the Jeff Fisher Rams, which I think they were 31st in the league when that was his title. Our receivers suck, and our passing game, our script, is terrible too. So Mike Groh absolutely has to go. I'm not going to come in and act like bringing in some OC is going to drastically change things. This is Doug Peterson's team. This is Doug Peterson's ship. Whatever OC we have, is the impact going to be huge? No, but we at least saw what the difference is day and night between whatever was working on offense with the Super Bowl year, with Frank Reich doing whatever Mike Groh's doing now, and what we have now with Mike Groh. It is day and night between the Philadelphia Eagles offense then and now. So I think that's an easy fire to shake things up. And I'm not saying replace with Deuce Staley. I've had my issues with Deuce Staley for a long time. A lot of people in the Philadelphia Eagle fan base want Deuce Staley to get the OC job. He's just as bad. Deuce Staley's running back rotation is garbage. He can develop running backs nicely. I mean, it's not easy taking a practice squad running back and Josh Adams and making him your leading rusher. But I would argue Deuce Staley, he's fine in developing running backs. We're seeing some growth in Miles Sanders, for example. But as an OC, as his running back rotation, he's had that since Chip Kelly was here. Choose and when to take the running backs in and out. Obviously, the coach probably could veto it, but they put that responsibility on Deuce Staley. And the Philadelphia Eagles running back rotation, it's not good. It's one of the weaknesses of our offense. They always go against the grain, take the hot hand out, and just sub in someone that just does stupid shit. So that's the offense, Mike Groh. I mean, defensively, that's where we're going to finish this video. Let's do the grades, and then we'll finish it. It looks like Philly's just running the clock out here now. Boston Scott's getting some touches. That's how you know it's over. So yeah, 38-20 is the final. So for the Eagles, Carson Wentz went 26 of 40, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. I actually missed the pick. That was when I started this. Seems like he threw a pick to... I can watch it live. Looks like it was on Goddard dropping it. Give me a sec here. I want to make sure we don't get any audio. So Carson Wentz is in the red zone, drops back, throws it high. That was actually not a great pass for Carson Wentz. The game was over at that point. I'm not going to hold that pick. They were down 18. Wentz was one of the positives. I'm going to give Carson Wentz A. Literally, both the touchdowns were plays that he made in the pocket, scrambling around. He was really good. He was definitely not the reason we lost this game. The running game, Jordan Howard, 13 carries for 50 yards. Miles Sanders only had 3 carries for 6 yards. It was a weird game script. They ran the ball okay, but it felt like when Doug Peterson was mixing in the runs, it wasn't what we needed. Like the offense struggled to find balance, but Miles Sanders did the job, did the damn thing in the receiving game. 3 catches, 86 yards and a touchdown. Alshon Jeffrey, 10 catches, 76 yards and a touchdown. Ertz had 54, Goddard had 48, Nelly had 42. So they got the ball and they spread it around a lot, but it's when your defense keeps falling flat, it's your offense goes like, come on, man. We always burn the first quarter. Minnesota had a really, really long drive to open up the game. But, that's when you come out and you run your 20 plays that you practice, that you know to a T, that you know are going to work because you properly dissected your opponents. And it's not happening with the Eagles. So then, oh, shit, now we're down 17-0. And then, you got to change your game script. And honestly, Zach Ertz has not looked great this year, to be honest with you. He's not getting as open. He's having some drop issues. And I don't know, man. That whole hypothetical where, like, if you ask Jags fans, let's make a trade at the Eagles, the one player they will consistently say, all right, give us Zach Ertz. We'll give you Jalen Ramsey, you give us Zach Ertz. Honestly, I'd do it. At the end of the day, gun to my head, understanding the pros and cons, the pros of, if Zach Ertz goes, we have Jalen Ramsey, and then you promote someone like Dallas Goedert, who I think has all the potential in the world, could definitely be a tight end 1 in the NFL. And then, when you had the other side, these people are people, and, Zach Ertz going will probably kill locker room chemistry, locker room morale, and you understand those kind of things. But I think if that's a scenario, if we're going to entertain that, I'd do it. Looking at the team right now, right, I'd do it. But anyway, the receivers, they were fine. There was a couple drops here and there, which is going to happen, but they were more so on difficult throws. There was no gimmies. It was just Vikings would score in a big play, and Philly didn't have those big play ability. We need Deshaun Jackson back bad. Deshaun Jackson might not have made the difference today, but Deshaun Jackson would have made a difference in the loss against the Falcons. Deshaun Jackson would have made a difference in the loss against Detroit. We just need that faster. We need that explosive. Like right now, the most explosive playmaker on offense is Miles Sanders out the backfield. You're not going to win a lot of games when that's the case. So the run game, we didn't really give them great. Run game, we'll get a C. Receiving game, we'll get a B minus, somewhere in that territory. Zach Ertz also had a fumble loss. Of course, I don't know. I don't know what needs to happen there. When you look at the defensive side, defense, not good enough. Quite simply, not good enough. Malcolm Jenkins was okay, led the team 7 tackles. We had Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham actually had a strong game. Brandon Graham, when they move him inside, kind of taking the role that Michael Bennett played last year in the NASCAR packages, having BG play D-tackle. Hell yeah, bro. I mean, that's technically what Malik Jackson should have done. But either way, Brandon Graham had his best game, I think, all season. 3 tackles, a TFL, and a sack. Fletcher Cox was a pretty strong game. TFL. Hassan Ridgeway as the other D-tackle next to Fletcher Cox. Very strong game. We had picks from Sendejo. Hilarious interception. That was on Kirk Cousins. How many times a wide receiver drops a pass like that and you go, oh, that's on the quarterback? But Kirk Cousins just rifled it at Diggs' face and smashed off his face mask. And credit to Sendejo, actually did something positive for once. And Seattle got a touchdown. Let's go. Make me money. Other than that, man, the defense. Okay, Craig James, I want to fault him because he was bad, but he's Craig James. What are you doing? If you know your team needed a corner back in week 1, you got exposed week 1. And you're still sitting here with all the injuries piling up. No Avonte Maddox now, a guy that, for whatever it's worth, has some talent in that secondary. Craig James, make the trade. Sidney Jones is a bum. Sidney Jones is a higher level. Okay, I played a shit ton of I think I got 15 days of Call of Duty. Sidney Jones is a higher level than me. This dude has his priorities all fucked up. He's playing Call of Duty 9 hours a night versus stretching, rehabbing, being healthy for once. He's a scrub. He's an absolute scrub. He was terrible today, bad angles, couldn't cover a fly. Actually, that'd be kind of impressive if he can cover a fly, to be honest with you. I'd be shocked. If I had a bit positives to the Eagle defense, I thought the linebackers were fine. TJ Edwards came in relief duty of Nigel Bradham. Played well. Honestly, I think Bradham's a candidate to get cut next season. He is not living up to the contract we gave him after he won the Super Bowl. Nate Gary, as much as we all shit on Nate Gary, much as he had a couple nightmare games, he's been okay. You know what I'm saying? He's been fine. And we already know Camus, solid role player. I think the issue with the Eagles right now is that you need a corner. And I made this argument on Twitter. You look at, if I had to try to find a defense that's similar to the Eagles, like a defense that I could refer to, I look at the Niners. The way that the Niners are built, they got all those first rounders on the defensive line. Philly have all the first rounders on the defensive line. You know, they got Bosa, they got Buckner, Armstead, whoever that's actually playing. Philly has Fletcher Cox, first rounder, Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett. Then you look into the Niners secondary. We'll exclude Richard Sherman. Everyone else is kind of a budget type playmaker. Then you look at the Eagles secondary. Budget. You know, everyone is very cheap, very inexpensive in the Eagles secondary. That's the way that Howie Roseman has built this roster. And then, you know, the trade-off would be the Niners have the edge at linebacker, the Eagles have the edge at safety. Generally, the linebackers and safeties in today's NFL, very similar responsibilities. So I think when you combine all that, they are two very, very similarly built defenses. But when you look at the Niners defense, a big reason why they're undefeated this year, why? Their defense is playing so well. Why? Where's this disconnect between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Niners, if we're making that comparison? And the Niners have a guy named Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman makes everything that they're trying to do on the defensive side of the ball work. He's the kind of guy who can shut down the side of the field, the other side, give them safety help, and then let your front get pressure. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles, right now it's like, okay, whatever side Malcolm Jenkins can help double team on should be fine. The other side, just throw the bomb. And they did that today to Thielen. They did it time and time again to Stephon Diggs. Guys getting wide open. And that's what the Philadelphia Eagles are missing. Now, I'm not going to come out and say, Philly has to go out and trade 4 first-round picks and Zach Ertz to the Jacksonville Jaguars to get Jalen Ramsey. There is, quite simply, for a guy like Jalen Ramsey, whose contract situation's up in the air, there's a price that is too big to pay for a Jalen Ramsey. But not for someone like Chris Harris, where the Denver Broncos are pretty much, you know, dumpster fire. Or you look, maybe to a lesser extent, like William Jackson on the Cincinnati Bengals. Who else is on tank mode? Patrick Peterson from the Arizona Cardinals. I guess that could be another one you talk about. But Chris Harris, like I said, I don't know if I just mentioned Chris Harris. That'd probably be the number one realistic, not ridiculously expensive corner that could come in and do the job to help Philadelphia this year and probably next year. That's the window I think you could consider Chris Harris Jr. still elite corner. We need it, man. That's the difference. When you look at the Niners, they have a guy like Richard Sherman that can make going cheaper in the secondary work. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles, we don't have that. And that is what we're missing. And I think if you have that, you're going to see drastically better results. And if you are hammered on the fact that Jim Schwartz, for whatever reason, has to remain our defensive coordinator, get him a corner. Just, you know, go all in. If you're all in on Jim, give him at least a corner to say, here you go. This is your corner. This is what our defense is missing. Go do your job. And if not, he's fired. Because right now, I feel like that's the deal with the devil that the Philadelphia Eagles made. Like, all right, you win the Super Bowl, but you get Jim Schwartz for the next, 5 years, just screwing your team. And it's not looking good, man. And I don't know. Philly, I mean, Minnesota, like I said, I looked at the odds. I might have checked a couple bucks on the Vikings here because it was just the odds are too good to pass up. You have a backup linebacker in Zach Brown just throwing shade at Kirk Cousins for whatever reason. He's like, oh yeah, Kurt, you want Kirk Cousins to throw the ball on you because that's the weakness of the Vikings offense. Well, the fucking weakness of the Eagles defense is their pass defense. Kirk Cousins, I could tell you all along, Kirk Cousins has always had, more often than not, strong games against the Eagles, be it with the Vikings, be it with the Redskins. I knew Kirk Cousins was going to get at least 3 touchdowns today. Okay? So, giving him extra fuel to the fire from Zach Brown, who's been an absolute bum as well. You see why the Redskins got rid of him. It's just not a good place, man. It's one of those. This is one of those losses. It was a bad loss. I don't know if this is enough to get a change made in Philadelphia. I'm not, it won't be a coordinator, but to get them to trade for a corner before the deadline. But something needs to change, man. Because if not, I'm literally not. I'm not an overly cocky Eagles fan, anyways. But I will say if we don't trade for a corner, my expectations are going to drastically change very quickly for this season. Right now, we're a corner away from, the Dallas Cowboys look bad against any team that's good. Can we beat the Cowboys? If we play the Cowboys right now, we should beat them. But also, Dallas, if they're smart, just throw to Amari Cooper on whatever corner he's on. Or now they have Michael Gallup. One of those two guys is going to go for 200 fucking yards every time they play the Eagles. So, it is what it is. You can't expect something different if Philly refuses to address any of the big glaring issue. It is what it is. So, let me know, Eagle fans, what you feel about this game in the comments, and we'll be back tomorrow with your regularly scheduled content. Come on, Seahawks! Finish this one. And I was so close to chucking money on the Houston Texans over the Kansas City Chiefs as soon as I saw Chris Jones was out for the Chiefs, and that would have been a smart bet, but it is what it is.